Instruction on accessing reports. I go to the Magruder home page. I click on Lab Portal to get to the data reporting website. I log in with my username and password. And what I'm going to show you is how to get to your reports. I'm not going to provide a detailed description of the report contents, but I just want to show you how to access the reports when they are available. There are some reports available where the data was collected in the old Magruder program, the samples being January and February of this year, and some samples in 2014. You click on reports by clicking on the report button on the top, and it takes you to this page where you could select a year. The current year appears, 2015, and it will show a table of all the samples in 2015. Some of the samples, reports have not been finalized yet because these are future samples. But some of the samples that are old, like January and February of 2015, they do have reports available. You can view the reports by clicking on the link that says View Reports. I'm going to click on it for the first sample of this year. I come to this window, and it gives me a listing of the reports available under reports that are general reports. These are not lab-specific reports. These are reports that summarize data from all the different labs. There's an Analyte All Tests report and a Method All Tests report. This provides laboratory data from all the different labs. The Analyte report summarizes and statistically looks at the data grouped by analyte, regardless of method. And the Method All Test report groups the data by the specific method that the analyte was tested on, or the specific method that was used to test the analyte. So I'm going to click on one of these reports just to show you generally what it looks like. This is the Analyte All Test report, and you see the grouping for the analyte ammoniacal nitrogen, and just the analyte 3-digit code appears in the very first column, and it shows all the lab data for the labs submitting a result for ammoniacal nitrogen. Any analyte that is guaranteed in the sample will be shown in green with the analyte number. Total nitrogen is guaranteed in this sample, so it's shown in green. Okay, so that's generally, there's a lot of detail in these reports that I'm not going to go into. I just wanted to show you how to access it and what the report looked like. Method All Test report groups the data by method. This is what we are familiar with from the old Magruder program. All the laboratory data in the general reports was grouped by method, so this is using method 10 for ammoniacal nitrogen, the magnesium oxide method, and there's a grouping here, and the means and standard deviations are calculated based on the group of the method for the analyte. And then this is ammoniacal nitrogen reported as the other method. Two other general reports are available. One, Analyte Statistical Summary. It summarizes the data for all the lab results by analyte, and a Method Performance Summary that summarizes the data based on the specific methods. And this data will be very useful for looking at in the future to compare different methods and evaluate how methods are performing. The specific lab report cards are under the grouping called Method Report Cards and Analyte Report Cards. If I clicked on one of them, I'll click on Method Report Cards. It brings me up a list of all the reports for the specific labs, the reported values. You will see your lab highlighted in yellow. There is no report here highlighted in yellow because the lab code that I entered the data reporting website on, 9997, doesn't really exist. This was just created as a test. But when you enter it with your login, whoops, I opened the wrong program there. What you will see is the list of reports with yours highlighted in yellow. So you could click on the one highlighted in yellow and open up the report that's specific for your lab. You could also click on any of the lab report cards and see what those reports look like, and those report cards are anonymous. You cannot identify what labs belong to the reports, but there will be the number. The number is what's identifying the lab on the reports. So let me just click on one here on the website, and you see what the method report card looks like. This column here that I'm pointing to is lab specific data that this lab reported on for this method, and this is method specific. So you see you got the analyte and method code, and the average and standard deviation was calculated by all the data reported for that method. And then z-score is very important to evaluate how well you're doing compared to the consensus value. The analyte report card, you click on the analyte report card link and it brings up all the reports for the individual labs. You could click on yours that's highlighted in yellow. And now it shows your laboratory data with z-scores and mean and standard deviations based on all the data for that particular analyte, not the specific method. This is the data that's really what should be used to evaluate your proficiency in testing that particular analyte. You compare your result with all the other lab results for that analyte, not a specific method. So this is what the report looks like, very similar to what I showed for the method-specific report card. A unique thing about the analyte report card, it does have a second page that shows a box and whisker plot showing how your z-score, which is in a black circle here, how that compares with the z-scores from all the other labs. Shown is the box where the lower and the upper part of the box is the 25 and 75 percentile respectively. The lower and upper bounds of the whiskers are 5 and 95 percentiles of the z-scores. So it shows your z-score compared to the range of z-scores from the other labs. The green bound arrows are the green bound lines are z-scores that are +2 and -2, and then the red ones are +3 and -3. So that is the general description of the reports and how to access them. These reports will be available throughout the years. You could always go back to old reports. We do have some old reports from the old program in 2014. If I click on 2014, you will see that there are 3 samples from 2014 that have reports available. You can go and review them and look at them. Whoops. Go back to reports. And as we go through the years in this program, all the reports will be kept on this website, available and accessible. You would just click on the year that you want to go to and then click on View Reports. If I click on View Reports for a sample that has not been tested yet in the program, for example, the second sample in April, if I clicked on 150412 View Reports, you'll see that in parentheses after the report name it says not found. So there's no reports on this page yet, but once those reports are available and loaded on the website, they will be available for you to click on and view. So that is the instruction on access to the reports in